They said you wanted to see me, Coach?
Yeah, man. Step on up into my office. It's HomeSpun Sports with Coach John Montgomery. Sports talk with a twist of down-home wisdom. Welcome. Once more again, you tuned in to HomeSpun Sports. It's sports talk with just a little twist of some down-home wisdom. I am your host, the coach. Hey, known to kinfolk and friendfolk as John 2. And way up there in good old Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, trying to stay warm. I see you doggone hoodie all up. You got the HomeSpun Sports shirt on, but you got the hoodie underneath. So
I'll represent, Coach. I always represent, man. Come on, man.
Always represent. My kinfolk. The last P in the shell, my baby boy, what's up? There's Slim Manny Mills. What's up,
I
y'all?
can't call it, Coach. I'm just trying to stay warm, man.
Yeah. Man, listen, dog. The divisional round of the playoffs about to commence tomorrow.
Let's do it.
And we have a coach's coach as our special guest for today. This man been in the National Football League 29 years. He is a running back coach par excellence. This guy has coached Hall of Famers. He is a show enough OG and has been my good and dear friend for close to 40 years. Without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Jim Anderson.
Hey, man, how you guys doing?
How you doing, Coach?
Hey, it's a pleasure to be with you guys this evening.
Jim, man, thanks so much, man, for taking time out of your busy day, man, to impart your knowledge, man. We just can't wait to get started and getting your take on the playoff games. We're down to the Elite Eight, Jim, and so, man, everybody's got a chance now. Everybody's got a chance.
Well, it's one and done, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You know, if you don't go out there and play, you know, and not be surprised, you can go on and
you just go home next week.
No question.
But, you know, there are a lot of folks that, like I was saying earlier, is that some folks, you know, tripped over the pebble looking at the rock.
Talked about that. We talked about that.
Yeah, they find themselves at home.
Shout out to the Cowboys.
No question.
Coach, like my dad said, we're down to the Elite Eight, and 3 of these teams are from the same division. I'm talking about the AFC North, a division that you know all too well. 29 years with the same team, the Cincinnati Bengals, who would have been in the playoffs had Joe Burrow not gotten hurt.
That made
4. In your
four.
opinion, that made 4, right?
Yeah.
In your opinion, Coach, what makes the AFC North so competitive?
Well, the AFC North is old style football. You know, they can throw it. Every team has a quarterback that can throw it, and he can extend the play. But when it comes right down to it, it's running the football and tackling. And if you don't have a solid defense, you're going to be in trouble. And you have to have the ability to run the football, especially in the end and during the game, to chew up the clock and not allow that quarterback, that other guy, to get his hands on the ball to make a difference at the end of the game.
Yes, sir. With your insight, you being a special 29-year coach with the running backs, you having an insight, a slight higher knowledge than most of us would know. For the Bengals, Coach, tell me, how did you recruit and identify this special player that did so much for the Bengals organization back in the day?
Well, I think the number one thing is the guy's got to love the game. He's got to love the game, and he's got to be willing to work not only be gifted, but he's got to be able to work at the game. Work to get better, listen and hear what's being said, and accept coaching. Because the game changes from week to week, and you have to make those adjustments. And what you did last week doesn't mean it's going to work this week. And those guys have to take that to heed. And then the other thing is that running back, he's got to be able to do windows. And what I mean by windows, he's got to pass protect. He's got to be that guy that's tough enough and man enough to step up and take on the blitz, and not to come out of the game. I had a guy named James Brooks, and he wasn't a big man, but I say he was a half pint overproof, because he would step up and take on that blitzer. And that's what guys have to do in the game today. If you don't, then you're a 2-down guy. And the 2-down guys are good, but you want that 3-down guy, because then you have the ability not only to throw it, but you have your runner, the guy that you feel can make the difference in the football game. And the defense has to play totally different then. So, to identify those guys, you talk about quickness, you talk about change of direction, you talk about the ability to make guys miss. But the one thing I've learned is that if a guy has been good, you say he's been good his senior year in college, you need to go deeper than that. You need to go back and see, has he been good all his life? And those guys that have been good all their life, they still gonna be good. You take Rudy Johnson. We drafted Rudy in the 4th round, right? I mean, Rudy was good all his life, no matter at what level, what stage. And when he came on and played with us, it just took some time, but he came up. That cream just rose to the top.
It will.
And the same thing with Icky, the same thing with CD. Those guys, they have been good all their life. It wasn't just like you turned on the switch on the senior year and you say, oh my goodness, he's got a great senior year. You can go way back, and those guys, they brought people to their feet.
Jim, I gotta bring our audience up to speed, because you and I go way back. I will start off as a running back coach. You've been a running back coach and one of the best in D1 football prior to going into the NFL. And I remember when you were at SMU and you were coaching Eric Dickerson and Craig James. And I would glean from you and get little coaching points from you. But then I look at the newspaper one day and I see in transaction, Jim Anderson takes running back job at Stanford. And I picked up the phone, I called you, I said, Jay, hey, man, you going to Stanford? You were coaching Eric Dickerson and Craig James. Never forget, Slim, he told me, he said, John, I'm going to coach in the National Football League. That's my goal. I'm going to coach in the National Football League. And you got to get on the West Coast to go to the NFL. Well, fast forward. Now you're in the league. I'm looking for a job, and it's a running back job at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where you had been an assistant coach at one time.
Right.
And you knew Wayne Nunley, and you put in a call for me. And again, I thank you for that, Jim. But you told me, you said, they might have, I hear they got a running back out there that might have a chance, man. But if he does anything, just let me know.
And that's the inside track right there, Coach.
Well, it is. And, the thing about it is that, he had a great senior year. But you go way back, he's always been a talented football player, even when he was at Fresno Edison.
He was.
And so then,
but then, audience.
Oh yeah, but then let's face it, there was a man named John Montgomery that brought the best out of it. The whole thing is communication. When you're coaching a running back, he's a different type of guy, and it's communication and trust. And if you can show them that your job is to make them to be the best that they can be, and they trust you, you got it.
Jim, I never will forget. So now you're right. He had a great senior year. He led the nation in rushing. And you called me one day at the office and you said, here's the deal, John. He said, I know, I'm convinced. Sam White is convinced. Paul Brown ain't convinced. So what I want you to do, Montgomery, get the second half of the Baylor game, go up to the airport, have it FedEx to me. He said, John, I need it on my desk in the morning. Paul Brown
Overnight
ain't
that.
convinced.
You got to overnight that, man.
He ain't gonna put that kind of money into a guy who's only done something for 1 year. I said, Jim, he had 3 200-yard games in succession. He said, John, Baylor was the Southwest Conference championship team. That was the best competition he played. He had about 140 yards on 12 or 15 carries in the second half, and that was the film. And it's a people business is all I'm trying to convey, Jim. So many times, man, we've talked ball and you've blessed me. And, man, listen. So, and a credit to your coaching, J.A., in the history of the National Football League, there have not been but 3 rookies, right, Jim, that led the league in yards per carry?
Okay.
All right. Uh, Adrian Peterson was one, Barry Sanders is the other, and Elbert Ickey Woods is the other. And that's a credit to your coaching, Jim Anderson.
Well, that's great. The thing about it is that, see, he stayed with it too, because he wasn't a starter in the beginning. He was just putting in time. We were gifted. We had Brooks, Woods, Stanley Wilson, Stanford Jennings and Mark Logan. We had a stable. We had some guys back there that could play.
And Munoz.
Well, the guys up front, that speaks for itself.
Okay.
And then we were the team that really brought on the inside outside zone. And with Ickey, stretching it and then cutting it. Yeah, everybody thinks you're cutting it back, but all you're doing is actually cutting it up.
Yeah, come on now.
Because the whole thing is the action.
It's a cut up play. It ain't a cut back play.
No, because the whole thing is to create an illusion. You create the illusion to get the defense to move. Hey. And as they move, you take advantage of their movement to find the crease.
Oh man.
You see? And so that was a success. And we just had the guys on the backside that could hold down that backside and you stop that backside pressure. You see? So it was pretty good.
Man, I can still hear you now. And you're coaching me up. Slim, he's coaching me up. Now, John, it's a slow 2 and a fast through.
That's right. Because the whole thing is you hear coaches say, hit it. No, don't hit it. Now, when you say slow 2, everybody has their own tempo.
Okay.
Everybody has their own pace.
Okay.
And so they create the tempo. I mean, it's not like you're going in slow motion. You create the tempo to get people to move. Yeah, each guy is different.
Absolutely.
You see? And that's when you hear people talk about jump cut and and in and out and that type of thing, the quick feet, but the biggest thing is, you have to have the ability to run through an arm tackle.
Oh, come on now.
That's the guy like Ickey Woods. And when you have that burst of speed going through there, these guys run through arm tackles.
Oh, all day.
And see, then when you talk about the AFC North, you got some guys that are dynamic. We talk about Cleveland. They're not in it now, but they had the most dynamic runner in the league.
Yeah, they did. Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb. That guy can play.
Mm-hmm.
And when he left their team in regards to injury, they became a different team.
They did.
They have a heck of a coach. I don't know what the background is, but they have a heck of a coach up there in Stump Mitchell, and he get hurt. Chubb gets hurt, and now all of a sudden Stump, he's not good enough.
Yeah.
He's looking for a job now,
and Stump got let go the other day. No question. Jim, the AFC North. How do you stop Lamar Jackson?
Wow.
How do you beat Lamar Jackson?
Well, what they've done before. What you have to do, you have to contain him, number one. You have to get the push up the middle. I believe this. Get the push, and don't allow him to extend the play.
Okay.
And some people have used that spy technique on him, but you better have an athlete back there.
Well,
that's spying. You just can't put anybody back there because he's got to mirror him, and he's got to be able to make that open field tackle.
No question.
But the push has been a big thing with Lamar. The thing that's changed his game this year to me is that he's got some quality outside receivers.
Yes, he does.
He's
Yes,
got
he
some
does.
guys out there that can really, really run. And if he extends it, he can put it to him. And he's always hit Andrews, big
Mhm.
tight end. That's has been his favorite guy.
That's his go-to guy.
But now, since he's been out, he's been able to utilize these other guys. But let's take nothing away from his ability to run. And then the running backs have done a great job for him too, because it really helps their play action. And now they too lost to. I thought it was a heck of a player when Dobbs
Yeah,
went
when
down.
Dobbs went down with the
You
knee,
know,
the running
because
back out of Ohio State, no
I
question.
think he is a premier player.
I do.
But
I like it too.
he's like some people. He just can't get away from that injury bug.
He can't stay healthy. He can't
That's
stay
right.
healthy. The big thing about Baltimore is that, in my opinion, is that he has three legitimate vertical threats beside the tight end, the little kid from Coastal Carolina. He's got three legitimate. And could it be possible that Odell Beckham Jr. might be the least of the three?
Well, see, Odell is going to make a play.
Yes, he will.
There's going to come a time in the game somewhere, somehow, he's going to make a play. He did that in the Super Bowl against the Bengals.
Absolutely.
He's going to make that play, and it's not going to be an ordinary play. It's going to be an Odell Beckham play.
He's a
One of those plays.
spectacular.
Yeah, one of those plays that he can make,
That's why you pay
and
him.
maybe other guys they try to make them, but they just don't have that ability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And right quick on Baltimore, because we want to get your take on the other three games too. But right quick on Baltimore, the big thing we've been clamoring about Baltimore on offense, Jim, their defense carries them now. And they
Well,
got Kyle Hamilton back. That man child that played from the secondary first round pick from Notre Dame. Baltimore's defense, let me
60
tell
sacks. They
well,
lead the league in sacks.
defense wins. If you can't score, you can't win.
Absolutely.
When Baltimore won the world championship, when Coach Lewis was the defensive coordinator, the team couldn't score. The
No question.
defense would shut them out. So if you can do that, if you can shut them down defensively, these teams that are playing, they got some defense now.
No question.
The only team that really that has a noteworthy defense that's not playing is Cleveland.
Let me ask you this. The Saturday night game, the late game Saturday evening, 7 seed who did something unprecedented when they went to Jerry World and ran the Cowboys out of the stadium. They go to the 1 seed, San Francisco. What's your take on that game? Do you give Green Bay a chance?
Well, there's always a chance when you have a young fellow that can spin it.
Yes, sir.
You always have a chance. But 49ers are so balanced. They got some grown men back there running the football now. When you take that, when you say Debo, you say win.
Yeah.
When they gonna raise their hands and say touchdown? I mean they and McCaffrey, he's a heck of a
How
player.
high?
But they can attack you inside, outside, and they have that tight end too that can make some plays for them.
Kittle,
Yes, sir.
George Kittle.
So they're well balanced.
And
So
Jim, you ever said nothing about Brandon Ayuk?
well, Brandon Ayuk, he's coming to his own right now.
Okay.
He's been a little iffy initially. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But the other guys, to me, they're just, and not to take anything away from the young fella, but they're bona fide.
Okay. Yeah.
They're bona fide. And so, they got a heck of a football team, and they're well balanced offensively and defensively. And hey, Green Bay, they got their work cut out for them, but they're going to go and play, and they're going to play their tails off. And if you give the young fella a chance to extend the play, he's going to make a play with these young receivers. And if they get ahead and they just keep adding it up, and that defense plays like they did, it can be really tough.
I like Las Vegas likes Green Bay getting 9.5, some spots 10. I like that. Now I think it's going to be a very competitive football game. This Jordan Love kid's a special talent, and the thing about it is that people go, well, and we talked about it in our meeting, Slim. He's a junior now. People think he's a freshman. He's a junior.
He's a junior.
Well, the thing
He's
about Jordan Love that I like is that he just kept playing. He wasn't listening to the noise outside because in the beginning of the season it was a little rough for him.
Yeah.
But they just stayed to it, and the coaching staff stayed with them, and they were consistent, and they rode through the wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they got shooken up, and then that cream started to rise and rise
It
and
did.
rise, and now they can't get enough love for Jordan in Green Bay.
They can't. And if
But
they can run the football, even
yeah, but they weren't
close.
But if my memory serves me correctly, now they weren't talking. They weren't talking the same talk in the beginning of the year.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. No,
You
they
know,
weren't. They
and
weren't.
so I mean, I give him kudos, and I give the staff kudos because they stayed with the young fella, and they believed in him, and they worked through the rough edges, and he's proven them that he can do the job.
Okay.
a lot of growth.
Let's talk Sunday. Sunday, we got Detroit hosting Tampa Bay. Now, you know, Todd and I got a history. Todd, D coordinator for Doug Williams at Morehouse College. I was the offensive coordinator. I'm an Okie, Baker Mayfield at quarterback. But let me tell you something, Jim. Detroit got 3 first-round picks in the offensive line. The center, Ragnar, the tackle, Penei Sewell, and the other tackle, Taylor Decker, the kid from Ohio State. They got a first-round pick, the first pick in the first round at quarterback. They got a first-round pick in Jahmyr Gibbs at running back. And they got a first-round pick at the wideout from Alabama, the Williams kid, Jameson Williams kid. How do you
and Aiden Hutchinson.
And you didn't say anything about Hutchinson.
And Aiden
Well,
Hutchinson.
that's on defense. That's on
Right.
defense.
Well, you know, they're loaded, and you know, I'm a Pennsylvania guy, so I respect because Todd was that Temple and all that, and Todd's done a heck of a job. He's ridden through the storm,
Yes, he has.
you know, because
Yes, he has.
people wanted him last year, and you got to hope that you know, you got to give the ownership down in Tampa a bunch of praise because they stayed with him, and look where they are now.
Yep.
Because he's consistent at what he does, and he's good at what he does.
Do
But
they have a chance Sunday?
well, they have. That's why they play. But I think that I think Detroit is the team of destiny right now.
Okay.
I think that you know, it's going to take more than that. But them young boys know how to work up in Detroit,
That's what I'm talking about.
and they got energy, and they're going to bring it out. And they play with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of spunk. You know, Hutchinson is just like he's like a miniature. He's not a miniature. He's like AJ Watt. You know what I mean? He's like that ever ready bunny. He just keeps on going. You know, you gotta keep blocking him and blocking him and blocking him until the whistle. So if you
He's
just
relentless. Jim,
that's
he's
right.
relentless. Jim, he's got 7 sacks in the last 3 games.
Well, part of it is he just never gives up.
Yeah. High motor guy.
That's right.
High motor guy.
And and not only he's high motor, but he's talented.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, and so you put those two things together, you have a very dynamic defensive end. You know, and thing about they complement each other. And the coach, he brings something too. You know, he brings a little bit of that pizzazz, brings a little of that mental toughness. You know what I mean? That what they have to do.
Absolutely. Slim, we talked about it in our meeting, and I want your take on this, Jim. When you mentioned Dan Campbell, I think when he called that last play, they were in a situation in a game against the Rams. He could have punted it and relied on his defense, or he could have gone for the first down. And who's the wideout? Ramon St. What's his name?
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yes, sir. And he empowered Jared Goff. And Jim, you know that spoke volumes because Jared Goff was the guy Sean McVay ran off.
And him out. 14 points, coach.
Well, you know what it is just he believes.
Yes, sir.
It's just like the coach. You hear players and coaches, and when a coach shows that he believes in his players, and he wants them to go out and make plays, and the destiny is to win a championship. And again, what do you have? You have a tremendous trust factor.
Ain't no question.
Ain't
no question. And then now, Jim, it's just me. In the late game, Buffalo host because they won the AFC East. They host Kansas City. This is Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game. First one.
The rematch.
But until they read the last rites over Patrick Mahomes, and I know Las Vegas is saying Kansas City, I ain't go.
Well,
My homeboy.
Patrick Mahomes is special. You know, not the quarterback at Buffalo's not, because he can do some things. But the biggest thing is, I think that Buffalo has to force him to beat him with his arm and not his legs.
Okay.
Don't give him the opportunity to beat you with his legs, because that's what, he's a big, strong guy. And when he starts running that football, he's not like the average quarterback.
Okay.
He's like a big running back.
You talking about Josh Allen?
Josh
Yeah.
Allen.
Mhm.
You
In the
see,
Pittsburgh game.
so he's a guy that he'll run it, and you got to wrap him up.
Yeah.
You can't just throw your arms out, because he'll break your arm.
Oh, no question. And while he has been known to turn the football over, this guy Josh Allen can put the Bills on his back.
18 interceptions.
Well, but the thing is, you got to force him to throw it.
Okay.
You force him to throw it, and don't let him make that big play on 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20, and get a first down on his legs.
Okay.
You
Okay.
see, you're
Okay.
covering, but then you gotta regroup and go up and make that tackle.
Okay.
You can't let him go up there and stutter, and you think that he's going down, and you flat footed, and then he runs by you for the big touchdown.
Okay.
You got to go up and just hit him and knock him down.
Okay. 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 So before I let you get out of here, I do appreciate it. So you ready now to tell me who we're gonna be looking at in the AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game? Because I'll tell you, I ain't no shame. I'll tell you.
Well, I kind of think that for sure, I'm not for sure, but I think Kansas City will be in there for the AFC, and
Yep.
and Kansas City and Baltimore.
You like Kansas City and Baltimore in the AFC Championship?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
And then in the NFC, I think I'll go with Detroit, and I'll go with the Niners.
Go with Detroit and the Niners. Okay. 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 Now, you and I will talk, I'm sure, before Super Bowl Sunday, but this will be up tomorrow before the first game. And since we are been so blessed to have been enlightened by one of the show enough OGs, you're an OG now, Jay.
Well, I know that.
29.
Hey, I'm
29
not
years,
gonna.
coach.
I'm not gonna deny that.
I'm talking about you, Slim. You talking about an OG? This is show enough OG right here.
Got skin in the game. Yeah, man. Yeah.
So who's playing Super Sunday?
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna go with Baltimore.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I'm gonna go with Baltimore and the Niners.
Baltimore and the Niners.
Yes.
A rematch from a Sunday night game late. Okay. Baltimore and the 49ers. Who wins it?
Yeah. Well, who wins it?
Who wins it?
Oh wow. Well, I'm gonna go. You know what? I gotta go. I gotta go with the North. I'm gonna go with the North.
Faithful to your league.
Well, well to the league, and then John Harbaugh and his staff, they do a great job. And Ozzy and the group, they're a great organization. And so I think they can put it all together, and I think they can do it.
You know what? I think you're spot on correct. I think you're spot on correct. I felt like that the late Saturday night game, the NFC game between Green Bay and San Francisco, whoever wins that game will win the NFC. That's what I think. Because I think that's just my take. But
Okay.
I'm like you, man. I'm John. I think John Harbaugh, hell of a coach. And you just mentioned Ozzie Newsome. There's some people in that building, man. That's a shown up first class operation that they're doing up there with Baltimore. And I think this is Harb's year. I do.
Yeah.
I do. You know what? A talented football player that's made wealthy, that's got help, and has something to prove is dangerous. And that's Lamar Jackson.
And that's Lamar Jackson. Yep.
Well, you have people that just didn't believe that he could do what he has done already this year. And so he's got no question that these next 3 games, he's got to stay healthy. And if he does that, he just has he's an exceptional talent.
There's no question. There's no question. And now he's got help. And then when you're talking about coaching, before you let it out there, how significant was it that John Harbaugh had the insight to go down to Georgia and get Todd Monken? He went and got the guy that made Stetson Bennett a 2-time back-to-back national championship. Stetson Bennett's playing football in the National Football League, courtesy of Todd Monken. And John Harbaugh went and got his coach. That's coaching.
Well, I think that the thing that they did, if I had a key, I would say that they built the system around Lamar Jackson. You see, other teams have had people like Mahomes, they had people like Jackson, but their backup wasn't the same.
Okay.
And so what Baltimore has gone out and they have the guy that plays quarterback, the backup quarterback for them, is the same type of guy that Lamar is.
Absolutely.
And so they don't have. He may not be as talented. Don't get me wrong, but he has the same skill set.
Absolutely.
And so they don't change.
Absolutely.
They just keep playing. Where other teams, you see this big thing in the press now about RG3 and Jay, which really they just need to just cut off the jam. But on the other side of it is that the system was one guy played, and when he got hurt, then they had to go to a totally complete system with Kirk Cousins.
No question.
You see? So that's what creates the friction.
Jim, man, listen. Thank you so very, very much, man.
It was a pleasure.
And you've been insightful, man. You Jim Anderson, man. And, hey, man, I'm most appreciative for you to take the time to enlighten us. And hey, man, thanks so much for coming on our show, man.
Hey, you're more than welcome. You guys stay warm. I don't know what the temperature there is, but I'm gonna tell you what, brother. It's like 8 degrees here.
In the Natty, it's 8 degrees.
Yeah, and we had 4 inches of snow. Ooh. And so you do what you can to stay warm.
Keep it.
You ain't too much difference from Oklahoma, coach. We got 6 degrees and 5 inches of snow. You ain't too much different.
H-Town, baby. H-Town, baby.
Only thing I'll say is, who they?
All right, coach.
Take care of yourself. Appreciate you.
Take care, coach.
Be safe. Take care.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Jim.
Right. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Wow. Slim, I tell you, man. So we're out there. I'm at Coach Icky at UNLV, and Jim flew out there to see him because he had told me. He said, "Listen," he said, "let me know what this kid does. If he does anything on Saturday, give me a call." And I ended up calling him every Sunday evening after we graded the film. He led the nation in rushing. So one day he flew down because he had to see this kid in person. So he's standing out there at practice behind the chain link fence, and I'm young and all enthusiastic. I'm coaching. We an inside run read, and I'm standing about 7 or 8 yards behind Icky in the backfield, and I'm telling him, look out for the Will Black coming off the edge. Look out for so and so and so and so. Just coaching in the cage, in the middle of the cage. Practice is over, and we're walking. I'm walking off the field, and Jim runs by me and said, "John, I got to catch a flight and get out of here." And he tapped me on the back. He said, "Don't coach that kid in his stance." yeah. He says, quit coaching that kid in his stance. He's got too much to think about to be hearing you back there behind him trying to tell him what to do. And say, don't coach him in his stance. But hey, this guy out there, Jim Anderson, ball coach, man.
Some sound advice. Sound advice, coach. Coach, let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about this coaching carousel. 3 names, 3 teams. I want to get your quick take on them real quick. All right. Antonio Pierce, Bill Belichick, and Jim Harbaugh.
Antonio Pierce is going to get the job at the Raiders, and well, he should. Well, he should, Slim. The players believe in him. What Devontae Adams said, I'll run through a wall for this guy. And when the players believe in you, he's a defensive guy, and for like 3 or 4 weeks running, they led the league in points allowed. So kudos to the Davis family, to Mark Davis, for stepping out on faith and giving this young African American man who has got the players buying in, and they go get him a quarterback. This is a good year for quarterbacks. There's some veterans out there. They get there's some good college players out there, quarterbacks. They get a quarterback. Antonio Pierce could take the Raiders, or could take Las Vegas a long way. Yeah, no question.
What's Bill Belichick going to do, Coach? What's he going to do?
Bill Belichick, well, everybody's holding their breath, hoping he get to go to Dallas. And before we get out of here, and that ain't happening, because Bill Belichick was not going to have anybody between him and the owner. Okay? And there were too many people. Bill's son, Jerry Jones' son, Steven, who's always in his ear in the game against Dallas last week. You saw him up there, but they all of them up there mad. But Jerry was certainly mad and embarrassed. Steven sitting right there mad and embarrassed. My point is, there are too many people close to Jerry Jones, kin folks that are on the payroll. Steven, I think he got another son or a daughter who have his ear. Okay, you know good and hell well they didn't want Bill Belichick to be the coach. But Bill wasn't coming in there hearing nothing from nobody. Okay, he might.
I'm going through too many 3-party men. I need to go right to the source.
Thank you. So at this stage of the game, and you know Jerry felt comfortable with Mike McCarthy. Okay, Mike McCarthy ain't gonna say nothing if Jerry come down there and start running drills. If Jerry will be a coach, fine, be a coach. Okay, so
just let me coach. Just let me,
Okay. Yeah. I think personally, watch closely, Slim, on this Atlanta thing. Atlanta and Bill Belichick. Mildred, Atlanta is a quarterback away. They got the receiver from USC that's a big-time player. They got the Kyle Pitts kid, the man-child that's a slash receiver tight end from Florida. Both first-round picks. They got the running back from Texas, Dijon, the running back from Texas. That's a hell of a player. And they've got some things in place in Atlanta, okay? And bear in mind, this is going to be a big year for turnover. It looks like Chicago is going to go with Caleb Williams. So where does Justin Fields go? He looked mighty good in that red and black suit at Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Jim Harbaugh, coach.
And Bill Belichick is hanging around to break Don Shula's record. That's what he's going to do. It's going to take him 2 years to do it.
17 games away. He's 17 games away.
He's 17 games away. There we go. So I like him. I like Belichick to Atlanta.
Jim Harbaugh, coach.
You know what, Slim? If he don't go to San Diego, I look for him to stay at Michigan.
Because why not?
If he don't go to San Diego, now I get it. They got Justin Herbert. They got a big-time quarterback in place, and there's no question about Jim Harbaugh's ability to develop quarterbacks. This guy made a Super Bowl quarterback out of Colin Kaepernick, okay? So this guy can coach now. This guy can coach. Jim Harbaugh can coach, and he can develop quarterbacks. And proven fact that he can do that. What if he does not take L.A.? Slim, they're talking about big. I mean, he's already had it in his contract. I want immunity from the NCAA if I stay at Michigan.
Yeah, for real. I think that's. Let me get that off the top first, man. Let me get that off the top first.
He's fine, but put that to the side. Okay, the man won.
He won, Coach. He won.
He won national championship. Okay, so he could be using all this to sweeten the pot to stay at Michigan, because they'll be very good next year, and he's the CEO of Michigan football. Yep. He's the strongest man in the building, and that includes Ward Manuel, the athletic director. If he goes back to Michigan, he has no bosses. He has no ceiling if he stays at Michigan. So I don't know. If he don't take the Chargers, the LA Chargers, I look for him to stay.
Coach, this has been a heck of a show, man. Last thing I want to say before we get out of here, dude, I think it is the Ravens' year to win the Super Bowl. Think about it. It's Kismet. It's Kismet's coach. Their dad, he's a championship winning coach. The brother, he's already won a national championship at the college level. Wouldn't you think it would just be fitting for Jim to win the Lombardi Trophy?
Let me tell you something. You're spot on correct. And let me tell you something. Seed time harvest. Okay. If you plant okra Watermelon ain't coming up.
Nope.
And in the Harbaugh family, okay, from the dad, Jack, all right, who great coach at Western Kentucky, great coach as an assistant at the University of Iowa, great coach under Bo Schembechler at Michigan, and now Jim and John. Slim, John Harbaugh gave me a ride to work every day until I got my dealer car. When we were at the University of Cincinnati, your mama would come up there to bring me something at the office. John Harbaugh rocked you in the cradle when we were at Cincinnati. So, I mean, good people, good coaches. And God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, that will he reap.
That's what he reaped.
So, yeah, hey, listen, the thing about Baltimore, I'll tell you about coaching. Slim, just think about this. Jadeveon Clowney ain't done doodly squat in the last 4-5 years. Okay? Slim, he's a half a sack away from a double-digit sack season. As an edge rusher for the Baltimore Ravens. He's playing lights out. Okay? At this stage of his career, Slim, that's coaching. That's coaching.
That's coaching.
And so, man, I'm like you, Slim. I think Baltimore. I like Baltimore at the end of the day. But I'm looking forward to this, man. I tell you what, it's gonna be
you too, dog. I can't wait, Coach. I can't wait. Look, tell Mom I love her, all right?
I'll do just that, my brother. Give my best to everybody, every last one of them up in good old Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Ain't no question.
Will do, Pops. Will do.
All right, though. And finally, who has it better than us? I first heard that in 1996, standing in the mirror, shaving, while John Harbaugh was right next to me. And we were in the middle of fall camp and the grind of fall camp, and Harbs is shaving, and he goes, John, who's got it better than us? And I'm like, what? He said, my dad used to say that all the time. Gratitude is connected with God. In all things, give thanks. That's in the book of Thessalonians. And it is no coincidence now that Jim has won a national championship at the University of Michigan, and John is on the verge of winning one in the National Football League. And I ain't playing. I'm pulling for both of them. And that's how I see it. 6 o'clock, straight up and down.
And that's how we see it, and that's how it is. Man, I can't wait to do it again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of HomeSpun Sports, sports talk with a twist of down home wisdom. Jim Anderson, thank you so much for being our special guest on today's episode of HomeSpun Sports. We hope you all enjoyed it. Guys, make sure you tune into next week's episode. Make sure y'all stay subscribed. Y'all hit the like button. Y'all hit the comments.
We coming back next week, Jim. We coming back next week.
Coach, I hope so.
Okay. All right. Well, I check with you, ball man. You know, I'm full of fluid and ready to do it.
Ready to do it. Let's go, man.
We come back next week, huh?
Coach, that's what I plan. I plan on us having a show next week.
All right, I look forward to it, dog. I look forward to it. Stay warm up there, man. Stay warm.
Coach, I'm trying to, man. I'm about to go put me on another layer right now. Get up in this house, man. All right, y'all. Take care. Make sure y'all stay subscribed. All right, we love y'all. Thank y'all so much.
What he said. Pow!